Hi everyone, meet Bartholomew. We call him Barty for short. He is our garden mascot. The following video is a little older than most of my current videos. Several years ago I was very interested in starting a YouTube channel and I made numerous videos. And then my camera broke. My drive on my computer died. I thought I had lost all of the videos, but recently we have been able to retrieve some of the videos. Now they were made with a different camera, different time. The audio might be a little different. The visual quality might be a little different. But the video itself should be interesting, informative, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to be planting some Cape gooseberry seeds today. Come join me. Hi, I'm Elise and I'm glad that you could be here. I did lots of research on the internet about the difference in the Cape gooseberry and the ground cherry because there is lots of confusion. Lots of folks think they're the same thing. They call them the same names, but there is a difference. They are both in the Solanaceae family, but they are different species. A Cape gooseberry is a Phasalis peruviana, and it's hardy to zone 8, so that's really nice. Some of the basic differences: the Cape gooseberry, which is not related to a true gooseberry fruit, has more of a bushing type of plant where the ground cherry sprawls more. The berries of the Cape gooseberry are larger, the husks are larger, the bush itself is larger, but they both taste great. They are both used interchangeable for pies, cakes, jams, jellies, sauces. Eat them raw. They're really good. They are only edible when the fruit is completely ripe. And this fruit will turn a golden yellow when it's ripe. And the fruit does have a little bit of a mucus material on the fruit itself, which isn't going to hurt you. But you know, you might want to wash it off before you start doing anything with it. The papery husk is actually a calyx. And that's the plant's calyx. And again, it is only edible when this berry is completely ripe. And you know when it's ripe, normally, the husk and the berry will fall off on the plant by themselves. And then that's when you want to just pick them up. You can put them on your counter. They do have a good little shelf life. You can put them in the fridge. That will extend the shelf life. They aren't really commercially available all the time because they are kind of labor extensive to harvest. You would almost have to harvest them by hand, although there are some of the varieties, what I understand, don't know, that you can machine harvest. So that's some basics for you. I've planted both of them. I like them both. I can't tell that much difference. And to me, it's the ripeness of the berry itself that's going to indicate the sweetness. So what I'm going to do today is show you how I normally plant them, how I extract the seeds. Now, we know they're edible. They have a multitude of medicinal benefits. If that's something you're interested in, you might want to look that up. They were used a lot by the native tribes and by early pioneers. You can dry them and they make a good raisin type fruit that you can carry with you on trips. So today I'm going to show you how I extract some seeds and how I plant them. And I've already done some of this off camera. All I did was, and if you don't have a little strainer like this, try to find one. I have several. We either got them at a dollar store or maybe Walmart. They're very inexpensive. They have a very fine screen. They're flexible. All I did was I took a berry and I squished it in the screen. I held it under my water hose since I'm outside, but if you're doing it inside, hold it under your faucet full strength and it will wash all the pulp away and just leave the seeds for you. How easy. And I know some people say put it in a blender. That's just an extra step in a blender I would have to wash. And this, you know, in a couple of moments, a minute or two, you have seeds. Now these are seeds from 2 of the ground cherries. And there is lots of seeds here. I can leave them in this strainer to dry. What I normally do is take a toothpick and just spread them out a little more, and they've got airflow all around and they dry faster. If you want to dry them on a plate, just turn them upside down, plop them, and they'll all come out on the plate. How easy is that? Now you can store ground cherry seeds. So if you want to store them, if you aren't going to plant them right away, let me show you what I use for my little seeds. This is a toothpick holder we got at the dollar store. It was full of toothpicks, took the toothpicks out, put them in a different container. And the reason I like it is because it has all these little neat holes. And you can adjust the holes for what you want. So if I were doing these little tiny seeds, and these are dragon fruit seeds, which are very small, just like the Cape gooseberry, I would just leave it like 1.5. With something like this, you can control the dispersal and the rate that you're dispersing them. So if I were to sprinkle them out on a plate or into my soil, I could control the dispersal rate. Very easy. And then, if I wanted to, I could store them in here. How easy is that? Okay. Another way, and a method I use a lot. And for these, you know, all you would do is dry them to make it easy to disperse them and sow them on the top of some soil. And to sow, if you're new to gardening, that's S-O-W, and it simply means to scatter the seeds across the top of your container. I usually dampen the soil a little bit, and that way when the seeds hit the soil, they'll stick and maybe not bounce out as much. Then lightly cover the container with a little bit of soil because these are little bitty tiny seeds. Water them well, very gently. Put them somewhere warm. Now, Cape gooseberries can take a little bit to come up, so be patient. Next, this is one of my favorite ways, and I've been very fortunate in that it works for me. I love recycling, and these chicken rotisserie containers are great. There's holes punched in the bottom. They come with a lid, so you can make a little hothouse out of them. And since I do everything outside, I put the lids on them, and that protects them from the hard rains that would pound the seeds down deeper into the soil to where you can't get to them. Or, excuse me, where they can't stick their little heads up. So all I'm going to do is take a seed, and there was one that was really ripe, which doesn't matter. Take it out of the husk. The husks are not edible. And I'm going to make thin slices. They're absolutely full of little bitty tiny seeds. And I put them on my pre-moistened material. I know you've probably seen this before in tomatoes. I've done it with tomatoes, tomatillos, I've done pepper seeds, I've done guavas, figs, kiwi, anything, dragon fruit, anything with a small seed, this will work. If you don't want to slice them, just squash them. And the seeds will come out. I did read another way to try is to let it dry. Open the fruit like this, let the seeds, let it dry, then plop it all into some water, and supposedly the seeds will float out. I tried that. It didn't work for me. Perhaps I didn't do it quite the right way. So any way you want to do it, they're very easy. I'm going to get my little bottle of water. Wash the seeds off my glove. And that's it. I can separate these out more with my knife blade or a toothpick, or I use a little hors d'oeuvre fork lots of times, and that works. Now when these come up, they will be clustered, but it's very easy to separate them. That's it. I'm going to cut another one up and put a little bit more on that side. Put a light dusting of material on the top. Gently pat it down so that I have good soil to seed touching, and put the lid on it. It's that easy, folks. So this little project only took a couple of moments. I have more seeds if I want to sow them, and I can just sow these right in here. Just that easy. Don't have to dry them. You dry them if you want to store them, or if you want to control the dispersal rate of how you're putting them in your pots. That's it. And I do recycle all these. These, I know it looks a little cruddy. They've been used numerous times. That goes on like that. It protects the seed. And that's all you have to do. Sprinkle a little more soil on the top, very lightly. And I've done this with guavas that actually, the guavas came up in this pot, in the slices, really like within 2 weeks they started popping their head up. And it's been 3 or 4 weeks and I'm still waiting for the guava seeds to come up where I planted them in individual cells. Lightly tap it so you've got good soil and seed touching. I'm going to take the mister on my garden hose setting and mist this very well, put the lid on it, and that's it. That will go over an indirect light. I'm in zone 9B. I don't want to sit it out in the sun because that can get too hot when it's sealed. And lots of times I don't really seal it. I'll just put it on enough to try to protect it from the heavy rains. It does have holes in the top also to vent it. It is going to get some moisture in it, which is fine. I just keep an eye on them. If they look like they're getting too wet while I'm outside doing other things, I take the lid off, and that allows them to dry off a little bit. But this method works with any little seed. And don't be afraid to try. Slice it, squash it, do anything you want to. Do you think when Mother Nature drops a seed on the ground, she is so particular? No. She does her thing, and I try to emulate nature just as much as possible. So these are a beautiful ornamental. They can grow as a perennial or an annual, depending upon your hardiness zone. They've been around since Inca time. They're a bushy plant, not really large. You can grow them in containers or into the ground. Very edible, very nice. Makes wonderful pies and jams and jellies and sauces. Try them like raisins to put in your trail mixes or just carry as a snack. And they're medicinal. Great addition to any edible landscape. I hope you can plant something today and have a fantastic day.